Morning, y'all. It is currently 6:43 a.m. and I am about to head to the airport. I'm headed up to Annapolis, Maryland today and going to visit Made Plus. Now, some of y'all may remember that I did an interview with the Made Plus CEO, Alan, a few months ago, which I posted on the YouTube channel. And now I'm about to go meet him and the rest of the team in real life, which I'm really excited about. So Alan's going to give us a tour of the Made Plus HQ and the factory. I'm going to meet some of the other amazing teammates and really see how these shoes are made. And we're also going to pay a visit to the Made Plus retail store in downtown Annapolis as well. And y'all are coming along with me on this journey. So let's go. Just landed in BWI, gotta go pick up the rental car. It's about a 20 or 30 minute drive over to Made Plus. You know, one of the things I really love about these folks, outside of the obvious, of course, of being American made and prioritizing local jobs and supporting their local economy, is that they really prioritize technology and innovation and pushing the manufacturing process forward. Which, by the way, the typical shoe manufacturing process has like over 300 steps, which is insane. And Made Plus is really trying to make it more efficient and reduce waste, which is a big part of their operating values. Everything from the materials that they use, the fact that they're made to order, really helps them control all of the waste during their production process. So I'm really excited to go check it out.
2 hours later.
Chaos has officially ensued. So I get to the rental car place and no cars available. The wait was going to be over an hour, so I just ordered an Uber instead. And we got to make one stop along the way to HQ. I was testing out my gear last night and turns out one of my mics just bricked. So not enough time to order something online since it was late last night. So we're making a stop by the electronics store to pick up a new one, but all good. We're in high spirits and we'll be there soon. All right, mics have been secured, so I'm heading over to Made Plus. Alrighty, y'all, we made it to Made Plus. Alan is gonna give us a tour of the manufacturing facility and see how these beautiful shoes are made. Excited to show y'all.
Welcome to Made Plus, where we make domestic footwear feasible and practical. We use it through positioning our materials, sourcing, on-demand manufacturing, and we do it all like this. We start at the yarn level, and we retwist our yarn. We get in a big cone, and we downsize it into smaller cones. It gets put up on our knitting machines. Why this is so valuable is because we can re-engineer the yarn into our own specifications for our own products. The nice thing about this is also a domestically sourced yarn using recycled PET or water bottles. And over here, we are focusing on sustainable knitting operations to make these beautiful flat knit uppers out of our yarn. And as you can see, behind me, we have a very advanced knitting machine with over 1,000 needles knitting this upper to shape. Again, using the yarns from recycled or retwisted. We also put a little bit of Lycra in it to give it that little bit of stretch that we require for our process. And since our shoes are a sock-like upper, it helps give that rigidity that we need. This is dropped off the machine, and as you can see, we have a lot of Maryland pride here, which is one of our top sellers. It's the Maryland flag themed shoe. This is the gray and black version. But what I really want to bring a highlight to is this little bit of yarn right here called a waste yarn. It's this little small sliver that you kind of take out the clip the yarn here. I won't do it because I don't want to screw their process up. but you clip it out and you pull this drawstring and this waste yarn, which is what we consider all of our waste to make our shoe, which is really crazy, right? Traditional shoemaking is layer upon layer upon layer, cut out of rolled goods, and all those rolled goods become a kind of a weed where the negative space of your flat sheet comes out and it's just thrown away, basically. The other thing I want to highlight here on this Maryland knitted upper is the size. It looks very distorted and very large. This will go through several heating cycles through the manufacturing process, and it will shrink about 1/3 of the size. So dialing the science of this knitting machine in correlation with the manufacturing becomes very difficult. And even temperature in some cases, how we store our yarn and how we process our yarn actually affects the overall shrink ratio. Summer and winter are a little bit different, and we just adjust different things to combat that. But again, this thing will turn into a beautiful upper. It'll be steamed and pressed and rest. We let our uppers rest for a couple days. So what makes our process so valuable is that we have controlled every step along the way. And the best part yet is traditional shoemaking is over 300 plus steps. Our process is 50 steps or less. So when you think about waste management, just through the process of how we make it, on top of the materials we select, on top of the different manufacturing pillars, all cohesively run together, along with that on-demand and customization, all make it possible to make sustainable footwear.
Hi, my name is Keith, and I'm the knit programmer and production manager here at Made Plus. I program and knit the uppers for our shoes, as well as sort of shepherd them through the assembly process with our assembly team. There's one thing that I think makes Made Plus unique. It would be our customization options of the shoes. Your ability to choose various colors and combinations is fairly unique. I think it's been tried many times, but it's sort of core to our process. Our locality in the US, assembling everything here really makes us, is our focus around sustainability.
What I decided I want to do with our shoes was put a whole lot more complexity into the components. Like, for example, this beautiful knit upper, it's got a lot of technology baked into it. And then as we go through our process, we start trimming different things to make that also more streamlined and so forth. We also can do a two-tone, and right now we're operating about 20 colors. So what that means in layman's terms for 20 colors of a shoe is we can do about 5 billion configurational combinations, which is a little too much, to be honest with you. But there are some seasonal colors, and there's some core brand colors that we always have. For example, the whites, the grays, and the blacks and navies, we've identified them as top sellers, but also core shoe colors that we'll always have. My colleague here, Gary, is doing one of the most important steps in the process. He's getting ready to do the final assembly, which is sticking the two pieces together, and you gotta be quick and you gotta be good. You can see what he's working on here, which is also another version of the Maryland shoe, but we call this the O's edition because of the O's colorway and so forth. But again, what happens here is they go around and they mark a gauge, and then he works the cement to that line. And it goes through the tunnel a couple times with priming and cement. This is what they call a cold cement operation. And then at the very end, he'll stick that stuff together. And we'll get that on the back end here in a few minutes. Over here we have advanced 3D printing, and how we handle printing for our applications is we 3D print this custom kind of orthotic here. Overall, what we do with this is we assemble it with a little piece of foam. So it gives like this macro and micro cushioning, right? So the macro is this big lightweight lattice structure, And then the micro is this dense PU foam, which gives a nice moderation for applications for this. But it also gives the opportunity for a customer who may have some foot challenges and wants to work with a podiatrist. They could take this, our print off technically, and they could have orthotic basically married right to it. It would be very similar to what podiatrists would actually prescribe in traditional shoes. So since our shoe insert drops into the shoe, this is how we do it. We'd also traditionally sell just a solid foam piece with no 3D print. So we give people the upgrade option here. And we actually do it at an affordable price too for most people. We've also expanded that too, where we also embed 3D printed components into the upper. This is another way of tricking a traditional TPU injected counter. A lot of footwear has a lot of injected parts. By doing it this way, we can quickly see and use and also commercialize by printing small pieces, along with this little counter we did here too. This is for an upcoming shoe I can't talk about just yet. I will say it's in the pickleball range, but this is one of the counters in the early days of stock fitting this. And it's also allowed us to try things out without investing into the expensive tooling and injection molding. When it comes to TPU, foam, and rubber, injected TPU tooling costs are the most expensive. In this case, we just 3D print them first, confirm, and then once we start getting scale, we open the tooling. That way we know for sure that we're actually making the right stuff. This is a DLP printer. It's got two 8K projectors on top. It's got, right now the build tray is all the way at the top. It's one of my favorite machines because it runs about 95% unattended. So it runs at night most times. And then generally in the morning, you get a little surprise, either a good build or a bad build. But for the most part, we've had a lot of success with this machine. We've had a lot of success with making parts overnight. The challenge in this process has always been in 3D printing is the aftermath, the post-process. Yes, to make it unattended, but when you take it out, you have to wash and cure and dry and dye and trim and sand. So those become a little bit of the extra challenges, but nothing you can't overcome as well. Every bin in the building is a shoe, and it follows the whole path through the process. So for example, this is a current customer order. I can tell by the red bin, which is pistachio, poinsettia. And the nice thing about this, you're starting to see the upper come to life. There's several things happening here. One is the overlays have been made and pressed. The eye stays have been made. The reinforcers have been put on the back. And also the size tag has been placed on here. So technically, this upper is ready for shaping. And as you can see here, it's starting to take shape. So the heel's basically all done. It's been molded, it's been stitched, had the thread in there. The reinforcers also been applied in the back, which was not on the other one, and the other top reinforcers there as well. And again, now we have a nice heel loop, and we're still missing the toe gathering now. So one of these machines right here will actually gather the toe. And as it gathers the toe, it's actually shaping it. And it allows it to sit on the last better, but also allows it to be more like shoe-like form, because we are focusing on knitting. You know, traditional processes, a lot of cut pieces to make that toe shape, and then also a lot of toe pressing. We've kind of skipped those steps too, and we do some gathering and a little bit of pressing and a little bit of massaging. Both these machines over here are all about computerized stitching and no-sew pressing. So if you'll notice on the overlays, and here's our toe gathering too. So now we kind of see our toe gathering. You see a little bit of web in there. It's kind of bunched up. Here's our no-sew pressing, which means no sewing, right? And it has adhesive on the back, pressed to shape, and it gives you this nice little crease that we really try to perfect over the years. Also, something to note about these these overlay pieces, we actually bring that in a raw form again. So we bring it from a roll, and that roll is cut to shape on our laser, and we can also introduce etching. So another custom feature we allow people to do. So in this case, this is straight up Navy shoe. We did partner with Navy, and now we can use their branding and so forth. But what's nice about it is we do boat names, we do people's, teams. I mean, there's a lot of things we can do with it. I just took a picture of a reunion shoe in the back that, yeah, it's exciting. I mean, it's fun. We do reunions. I mean, I'm waiting to tap into the wedding market because I think the weddings, they want to wear it 1 or 2 times, but they want that special memorable moment. And we're there. As we move down here, the upper is still not quite complete. It needs something called a strobel. And this is where stuff gets a little bit more difficult. This is where the craftsmanship comes in. So as they put this strobel on the bottom, this is basically like the lid for the box. And it turns into an actual pullover. Once that pullover is established, they'll re-last it on a last. Simply like this, right? And that strobel stitch that I just talked about earlier with the cap, it's like a 90-degree stitch. And the craftsmanship and the skill level of that needs to be very precise, because that will change the sway of the shoe, but it'll also change the way it fits on the last. And the last should be called the first, because it's really the first thing you need in shoemaking. Shoemaking with the last is a big deal. I often think it's one of the more intelligent items we have in here, but being a dumb piece of plastic, or HDPE, high density polyethylene. But it's kind of fun, and you guys see this last here where it has the allowance for the sock liner or the full midsole to go drop into the shoe, where this last it's a big one, where this last, so you can kind of see that allowance here on the drop-in midsole. This one's the external midsole. So this is for the new pickleball and run, where you'll have an external piece of foam attached to it versus dropping in. So a little bit different construction. But one thing I want to highlight is our cup sole stitching. So we cup sole stitch all these cup soles with a cup sole stitching machine. And this is also kind of a unique machine because the entire shoe gets fed into the machine, and it runs through a guide, and it pierces through the leather upper all together. And it gives us kind of like this seamless stitch pattern. Also, something to note is we allow people to change that color. So if they want a different color, they could change it out, and now they have that kind of contrast color for their cup sole or their rubber outsole. As it comes through the rest of the process, the team will do a thorough inspection like so. And as you can see, this shoe has been technically lasted and bonded. So this is actually stuck together. It's still missing the cup sole stitch, the laces, the packaging that goes inside the shoe, and of course, a beautiful box being shipped out to our customer.
I started my career at Patagonia, working at a testing lab, then moved to Under Armour, managed the testing lab there, and then I knew Alan from the old days, and he said, hey, you want to make some shoes? And here I am running a factory floor. So I went from destroying things in a testing lab to building things on a factory floor. So very different.
Full circle.
So we're enjoying it. I appreciate bringing some of this industry to America. So I don't think people realize that Under Armour and Nike, they don't own factories in the United States. It's all shipped from overseas. So this is cool. We're not only a brand, but we're a factory. And it's challenging, but pretty awesome. So, I'm enjoying every minute.
Customers do different things. This is a custom shoe order. I don't know who did it without looking at the order, but you can see that they are also playing with different colors. I've never seen that colorway to date. And that's the surprise you kind of get out here sometimes, is you'll see different shoes come to life, and they just become exciting. This is for a retired military guy. You got a 76 on a heel, little fighter pilot. You may see some more of these things come out, but this one turned out pretty cool. This gentleman ordered 3 pairs this week, and now they want to do showcase this one for potential reunion shoe. We do have a shoe truck that sits outside and it goes to events, and we also have a retail store downtown Annapolis where we take the product from literally from the factory to the shoe store and start selling shoes. Our final grand opening, we had a ribbon cutting last week, which was more the official mayor and so forth, some Congress people. But last night was a little bit more of a grand opening for the team, for families and friends to come in, enjoy the moment, and sell some shoes.
Thank you for that wonderful transition, Alan. Caitlin was nice enough to drive me to the Made Plus store in downtown Annapolis, since I don't have a rental car. So we are gonna go see some shoes and see what's on display after their big grand opening. Thanks so much to Alan and Caitlin and the rest of the Made Plus team for an amazing afternoon of touring around the factory, seeing their store, and all the hard work that goes into manufacturing these shoes. I even picked up a new pair for myself, which I'm super excited about. Now I'm going to take the rest of my day to walk around Annapolis. So, as always, thanks for supporting your country and shopping American made. See you on the next one.